Okay, we have The Culling of Man, a litRPG adventure, Peril's Prodigy, book number 1, written by Craig Kobayashi. It is 473 pages, $3.99. It is available on Kindle Unlimited. Here's the author's description. Earth becomes the full immersion experience litRPG readers fantasize about, but at what cost? Figuring out how to cast spells without the luxury of a controller or a keyboard was the least of Garath's worries when the culling got underway. Though some elements of the new interface were familiar to the lifelong gamer, there was a lot he didn't understand. What exactly does the culling have in store for mankind? What will loot be like on this earth? And if this is supposed to be like an MMO, where are all the gosh darn hot elves? Follow Garath as his mismatched group of friends and neighbors attempt to survive the 24-hour event. Okay. This came out several weeks ago. It's been on my backlog reading list, and I just haven't had time this week to read it. And from the cover and the novel description, I really wouldn't have guessed what kind of story this is. The cover, to me, looks a little more cultivation-esque. And the culling description in the novel description is so vague and not described well that it's kind of meaningless. But once I got into the novel, I was pleasantly surprised to find that it's a well thought out RPG apocalypse story, which is again not what I would have guessed from this particular cover or that description. The storyline is basically all the tech on the earth goes out. A world by notification appears in everyone's vision saying that a wave of monsters will appear to kill them, and they have a few hours to prepare. Classic RPG apocalypse stuff with like waves of monsters added in. That's basically what this story is. The main character chooses a class. He becomes a caster summoner class called a necrologist, which is basically demonologist. Can summon demons, cast range damage spells. And it's an interesting class in itself. Nice progression, nice class abilities. There's lots of like class discussion and thought process as the main character chooses his particular powers and how he's going to use them. So good stuff there. But the storyline is in single player. Instead, the main character immediately gets together with like the neighbors and a group of like survivors in his building, and it becomes kind of this collective endeavor to survive the RPG apocalypse, to fend off monsters and to survive. And so that the community aspect is definitely a core part of the story. Game mechanic wise, things are going to be real familiar if you've read litRPG before. Notifications, RPG progression, familiar stats, character sheets, all the good stuff. Again, the main character gets stats and skill points every level to customize his class. And there's definitely a good gamer thought process of like main character deciding what kind of build he's going to make, and how he's going to use his abilities in conjunction to help everyone survive, basically. Good, well thought out, cringy stuff if you like that. The story leans on the apocalypse stuff, apocalypse survival stuff, which isn't bad. I like RPG apocalypse stories, like apocalypse stories. They always have good tension, high stakes stuff because it's life and death. And there's plenty of people in the story to kill to prove it. The increased difficulty of the waves of monsters keeps the combat interesting and forces the group to work together and to strategize or die. So good stuff. Overall, had a good time reading the story. I'd honestly just wish I read it sooner. It's quite enjoyable. Gets a score 7.8 out of 10. That's The Culling of Man, a litRPG adventure, Peril's Prodigy, book number 1.